The views and opinions expressed on this program do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of 580 WCHS, its employees, or WVRC Media. From the studios of WVRC Media, the country, the United States of America, the state, West Virginia, the city, Charleston. This is the Dave Allen Show on 580 Live. And your host.
What we've got here is failure to communicate.
He's kind of a big deal.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass, and I'm all out of bubblegum.
Dave Allen.
And a good Monday morning to everybody. Welcome to the show. Guarantee Bank Hotline, 304-345-5858. Tony the Taylor text, 304-935-5008. We're in the Jarrett Construction Studios, right on time, right on budget. Visit jarrett-construction.com. License number WV030133. Phone calls to the show, a service of Guarantee Bank, 1320 Canal Boulevard, East in Charleston. Texting services provided by West Virginia's finest men's store, Tony the Taylor, Virginia Street in Charleston. Summer hours for Tony, Mondays 11 to 3, Tuesday through Friday 10 to 5, Saturdays by appointment only. His normal hours will resume on September the 8th. Tony's also getting ready for the fall season, including new shipment of WVU stuff coming in as well. Check out bestmastertaylor.com or Tony's Facebook page for more information. Monday edition of the show, unfortunately, according to Metro News meteorologist Bryan Hughes, who's going to join me later in the show. According to Bryan, we have more storms on the way today. What a terrible weekend, really, all over West Virginia, but certainly here in the Kanawha Valley. We're going to talk to Bryan about that coming up. In the meantime, I will remind you that you can follow Bryan and his team of meteorologists on social media and by downloading the Metro News television app as well. Now, as I said, Bryan is going to join me later in the show. Also, Monday means we get a visit from Danny Jones, and I'm sure you've heard about the situation with USS Lincoln. Poor food conditions, sailors going overboard, et cetera, et cetera. Friend of the show, Rich the Realtor, Rich Kline, not just a realtor, but he's also a Navy veteran who spent quite a bit of time on ships like that one. So we're going to get Rich's perspective on that coming up a little bit later on. Plus, your calls and texts, again, are always welcome. Guarantee Bank Hotline, 304-345-5858. Tony the Taylor text, 304-935-5008. I do want to welcome to the show now the Superintendent of Putnam County Schools, Bruce McGrew. Good morning, sir. Welcome to the show.
Good morning, Dave. Thank you for having me this morning.
Thank you for being here. When does school start for students in Putnam County?
Monday, the 24th, first day students report.
And the staff, are they already back? Or are they heading back? What's the status of the staff?
Our 200-day employees, including teachers, aides, bus drivers, they all reported today. This is their first day back on the job.
All right, well, welcome back. Hope everybody has a great school year, you included.
Thank you.
I want to talk about the state of Putnam County schools. I had read a report over the weekend that one of your schools, and if I got the school wrong, then I apologize. I think it was West Hayes Elementary was named one of the top elementary schools in the state. That's pretty good stuff.
That is correct. They're doing good things there, and all of our schools are doing good things. And some of the results they've had with assessments, some of the things they have in place have just given students greater opportunities. And that's what it's all about. Any time that we can enhance a student's educational opportunity for their future, that's what we're supposed to be doing. I'm proud of West Hayes and the staff and the teachers, administrators, what they're doing there. So it's an outstanding accolade for them.
Let's talk about the other schools in Putnam County because, again, there's all these reports that come out about schools that are underachieving, overachieving. Putnam County, depending on which report you looked at, seems like that traditionally your schools, I don't want to say overperform, but they perform better than what other counties do in many cases. What are your schools doing right in Putnam County, sir?
Well, first of all, they're putting students first. And if you put students first, you're going to have good results. We've got great people in Putnam County. We've got outstanding teachers. But you know what? We've got outstanding students. We've got families and parents who promote, academics, wanting them to do their best and preparing them for the future. So there's a lot of things that go on in our county. We have a curriculum team that's outstanding that provides opportunities of training and enhancement for our principals and our teachers. And, we've been talking about the drip effect. We want things that we've got in place here to drip down to the principals, to drip down to the teachers, to drip down to ultimately our students, to where they value working hard and having a work ethic and not being satisfied. I say all the time, we're either better or worse. We're never the same. And we can't be satisfied. Complacency is a dangerous state to be in. And when you're at the top in test scores, we're blessed, we're fortunate. But we also know it's more than just test scores. It's about relationships. It's about students being prepared for the future, being able to communicate, work hard, and have that consistency on their future jobs and in their careers.
Talking again with Putnam County School Superintendent Bruce McGrew. The Dave Allen Show on 580 Live, brought to you in part by Pinnacle Consultants, helping to identify environmental concerns, asbestos, lead, mold, indoor quality issues in buildings all across the state, providing inspections, testing, and accredited lab services you can trust. Check out pinnaclecorp.net, helping you understand your environment, because what you don't know can hurt you. I talked to your counterpart here in Kanawha County Schools, Dr. Paula Potter, on Friday, and I know on midday we actually talked to a superintendent from the Eastern Panhandle, and there seems to be that there's this movement in a lot of classrooms in West Virginia to back away a little bit from technology. Certainly not, Bruce, doing away with it altogether by any stretch of the imagination, but maybe putting a little less emphasis on technology and getting back to more old school teaching in the classrooms. Putnam County taking that approach as well?
We are starting to do that, especially at the elementary age. Technology is a great thing, but we become, as human beings, we become so reliant upon it that when it's not working, when the software is not responding the way it's supposed to, there's so many problems you run into. But it's also that with students, and it's the same for adults. You get tied into that device, and it's so easy to get caught up in it to where you're on that device all the time. It's not healthy. I'm a former health teacher. It's not healthy. They need to be hands-on more. They need to be active learning and not just staring at an iPad or a computer screen. So there is that push. There is a change that's coming about. Doesn't mean technology is going out the door. By no means. It's too valuable. But to lessen the amount of time that's spent on it is going to be beneficial. There's no doubt, because again, we've got a society that relies on a computer screen. We need to be able to look people in the eyes, be able to work together collaboratively and solve things and learn. So yes, that is going to happen.
Talking again with Bruce McGrew, superintendent of Putnam County Schools. I know a lot of the discussion has been about that Google data center, Bruce, in Putnam County, but I will say that we won't get into that debate, but I will say that the folks at Google came through in a big way for some school systems in your county.
Yes, they have. If they're going to come to Putnam County and see the value of public education in West Virginia and public education in Putnam County, it's at the maximum that you can be. It's outstanding what our public education, West Virginia, and specifically Putnam County offers. And, they're in a business. They realize too that we can help them, because if they can attach to us, it only builds their product. So, we're grateful for their contributions to some schools in the Buffalo area, coming into the county. But they do realize that to attach themselves to West Virginia public schools is a big mark for your company. So that's the way it works. And, we'll work with them and what they offer to benefit our students. And it's a good thing.
You mentioned earlier about your education, your experience, I should say, as an educator, health teacher, and you've been principal, superintendent, done all the things in the school. If you could give parents, superintendent, any advice for the upcoming school year for parents, what would that be?
Well, keep your priorities in line. You got to follow the good Lord first of all, or all the other plans are going to fall apart. But to communicate, to have relationships, to know what's going on at their student school. Have those sit down conversations. Talk about the day. It's nothing sophisticated. It's not rocket science. It's returning to values and morals that our society needs. And students want to communicate. They want to talk about their day. And I think you'll be surprised to find out when you sit down and spend time with them how beneficial that can be on a student's everyday life in our school system. So it's very beneficial for communication, staying involved. There's so many opportunities in our school system for not just parents, but the community to be involved in. We've got an outstanding thing going on here that the bottom line is we get students prepared, but the major thing I would say is communicate and be involved. You can't stress that enough.
Putnam County School Superintendent Bruce McGrew. Sir, have a great school year. Thank you for joining us, and we'll talk again throughout the year. Appreciate you being here.
Yes, sir, Dave. Thank you. Appreciate it.
918 Go Mart and your favorite WVRC media stations giving you the chance to win an incredible VIP experience at WVU's season opener September the 5th when the Mountaineers take on Coastal Carolina. You can become a miracle worker for the upcoming Radiothon, which is going to be this Thursday and Friday, and you're automatically registered to win. Now, one lucky winner going to get the chance to walk the man trip into the stadium with the team, attend a VIP tailgate party before the game, get field access before kickoff, and get 4 touchdown terrace tickets as well. It's a once-in-a-lifetime WVU experience, and you can help West Virginia's kids while getting your chance to win as well. Check out all the rules and details at your favorite WVRC media radio station websites. Go Mart, the official convenience store of WVU Athletics and WVRC media stations. Let's go. We got Danny Jones coming in the studio coming up a little bit later on. Also, our good buddy Rich the Realtor is going to join us. Not about real estate, although I might let him get a little plug in there. We'll talk about his experiences in the Navy and this whole thing with USS Lincoln. And we're going to check in with Metro News meteorologist Bryan Hughes as well. Coming back after this on the Voice of Charleston, WCHS.
Brought to you by the Eric J. Tarr Family Businesses. Eric J. Tarr Family Businesses have been creating jobs in West Virginia since 1997.
The city of Nitro is celebrating the opening of the Nitro Youth Football season on Saturday, August 22nd. The festivities kick off at 10 a.m. with the Nitro Sports Card and Collectible Show at Nitro High School. WVU great Owen Schmidt will be on hand signing autographs from 10 until 1 p.m., then a team parade at 2 p.m. with Schmidt serving as Grand Marshal. Schmidt will also conduct the season-opening coin toss at Underwood Field. It's your chance to meet one of WVU's all-time greats and be part of Nitro's kickoff of youth football season.
Injured? Call Morgan & Morgan. We'll always be here for the people, not the powerful. We'll always be here for you.
Office 222 Capitol Street, Charleston. Cases will be handled by West Virginia licensed attorneys. The attorney in this ad is not licensed in West Virginia. ForThePeople.com.
Charleston, there's a new bank in town, but it's built on something timeless. Relationships. Guarantee Bank is now open on the Boulevard, bringing community banking back to the Canal Valley. We're local decision makers, real people, and a team that understands West Virginia business. Whether you're growing your company, buying a home, or planning for the future, we're here to help. Stop by our new Charleston branch at 1320 Canal Boulevard and experience banking the way it should be. Guarantee Bank, where community comes first.
With the right support and care, a seed can grow into a resilient plant. Recovery takes patience, intention, and a willingness to listen. Every path is different, and every story of substance use is an opportunity for transformation. When it comes to growing and restoring our communities, we need everyone to break through addiction. Learn more at backtolifewv.org.
Start your Saturday mornings at 7:06 with West Virginia Outdoors on 580 WCHS. Join Chris Lawrence as he explores the wonders of our state's great outdoors. From fishing to hiking, hunting to conservation, it's an adventure you don't want to miss.
That's the sounds of the official band of the Dave Allen Show. It's Amos Steele. So if you got something going on, you got a class reunion, some kind of gathering, whatever, your bar needs them, whatever, that's the guys you need to get right there. Amos Steele, they're fantastic. Hey, Marshall fans, Marshall University Quarterback Club of Charleston presents the annual Paint the Capital City Green event Thursday the 27th at the Bill No Flight School. West Virginia International Yeager Airport starts at 6. You'll hear from head coach Tony Gibson, Corny Jackson, other coaches as well, the AD Gerald Harrison, and the voice of the Thundering Herd, Steve Cotton. I'll be serving as your MC, along with Steve Animal from 98.7 The Mountain, Wild and Wonderful Classic Rock, and all proceeds benefit the Big Green. For tickets, check out herdzone.com. or 304-696-4661. We're going to spend a little time talking about the USS Lincoln here momentarily. But before we do that, also Danny Jones coming up. I do want to bring in Metro News meteorologist Bryan Hughes. It's been a busy 24, 48 hours. Actually,
72.
Let's say 3 weeks.
Exactly. Yeah. And if you really go back, it was, let's see here. Tomorrow is when we started talking about the flooding potential a month ago. Mm-hmm. So, you're looking at 28, almost 30 days, where we've had just non-stop rain across the state of West Virginia and beyond.
And that's what especially it seems like it's been here over the last, you said for a long time, but even this weekend, it's just nonstop, and we got another event coming today.
Yeah, exactly. Listen, I was looking at my numbers. My Facebook page alone had over 2.3 million views in the last 2 days, and that's absurd. But people are clamoring for more information. When's the next round of rain coming? When's the next storm coming? And, thankfully we had the showers and storms that were in eastern Kentucky that got to the border and just started falling apart. Okay. From 8 a.m. till 10 a.m. across the country, as you're in those different time zones, that is the most stable part of the day in the atmosphere. 8 to 10 a.m. Obviously it peaks around 9 o'clock. And if storms can last through that, it's going to be a bad day. Okay. But we literally had at 8 o'clock, those storms started to fall apart as they were getting right there to the Kentucky border, and they've fallen apart to where now there's just a few sprinkles in the neighborhood in Putnam, moving into Kanawha County, parts of Lincoln County. But by this afternoon, we are going to see showers and storms ramping back up into the early evening and nighttime hours, and we've got a 100% chance of rain today. Because of the showers and storms later on this afternoon and this evening. Some of those will be strong to severe. Gusty winds will be the primary threat, but I say the primary threat, it's probably a secondary threat when you consider the rain, because flooding is the primary threat now across the entire state. When you had yesterday in Fayette County, you had in parts of the county over a foot of rain, and the majority of that fell within 12 hours. But when you had a foot of rain over a 24-hour period, that just it blows through every record possible, and it really makes August the wettest August we've already seen. I think right now we're at number 2, but we are going to be number 1. Right. After today we will be, and then when you add the rain for the rest of the month, and we're just going to blow through all these records. Mm-hmm. But the creeks and streams still running. They're not running obviously like what they were yesterday or last night, but we've got the big river. Kanawha River, it's at 16 and a half feet, and it's steady, and it's going to slowly drop over the next couple of days.
How are things at your place? Because Bryan lives on the river, Rich. He's like I-Cantina. He's rolling on the river, right?
Right, exactly. Just rolling down the river. Thankfully, I'm not rolling down the river. Yeah, but I'm rolling on the river. Last night I heard a big bang. Every time you hear a big bang, you go, oh, crap, what's that? And I was like, I think something hit the boat. And I went out there, and there's a refrigerator up against the front of the boat. So,
since when did Big Sandy start doing it that way?
Right. Well, listen, if they're going to deliver it, they're going to deliver it via the water. Bryan, you need a new fridge. That's right, I do. Well, Big Sandy Superstore can help you out here. But that, had a refrigerator hit the boat. And it's rare for that to happen, but the water was churning so much yesterday because I'm in a part of the river where there's a bend, so I don't get a lot of that, but I sure got the debris yesterday. All right. So it's a mess. So
what do we have for the rest of the day?
The rest of the day, there could be a shower any point during the day, kind of like these couple of these sprinklers.
But it's not going to be like it was yesterday, from what I've been told.
No,
right?
It is not. But we do have more showers and storms this afternoon and this evening. Okay. Again, primary threat's flooding. Secondary threat's going to be wind, and obviously the lightning. Holy smackaroonies. We've got so many people without power. But a lot of that is because of the trees that have come down into the power lines and such.
I saw our good friends up at the animal shelter had some trees on their building. Matter of fact, I'm going to read you this text. It says, ask me if, Dave, did you happen to see the Facebook post of a young hero who rescued 2 drowning pigs from floodwaters in Mount Carbon? It seems that CBS News saw it. Bless this young man. And people, please don't leave animals behind. I have not seen that, but they sent me the article. I'll go check that out.
Yeah, listen, there are a lot of people who are doing a lot of good things yesterday. Every single boat that Charleston Fire Department had yesterday, those were out doing swiftwater rescues, and not just Charleston. Yeah, we had tons of volunteer fire departments, other fire departments that were out and about doing the Lord's work yesterday, taking care of people. But as the new forecast models have just come in, and we're looking at by the time we get to noon, we start to see things bubbling back up, and 2-3 o'clock this afternoon, all the way through about 5 o'clock, some good showers and thunderstorms passing by. There's another round, probably 9 9 to midnight, and then after that, just a couple of spotty sprinkles. And then for your day tomorrow, maybe a 20% chance for a sprinkle. And then going into Wednesday, high and dry. Next chance of rain after that will be Thursday. But this afternoon, this evening, and tonight, this is our last good round until we probably see Thursday.
All right. Of course, you can follow Metro News meteorologist Bryan Hughes on social media by downloading the Metro News television app. And you're going to be hearing from him a lot throughout the day today. So I appreciate you being here, man. Thanks a lot.
Absolutely.
All right. I want to bring in our good buddy, Rich, the realtor. And I'm sure that you have seen this. He's serving as Rich Kline today, not so much Rich the realtor, although I may give him a chance to plug something. So, the USS Lincoln, now deployed for over 250 days, originally supposed to be a 7-month deployment. We heard reports of terrible conditions on the ship, food shortages, mental health issues, et cetera, et cetera. Rich joins me today because he spent a little time on those ships, right?
Well, a ship, yes. I served 3.5 years on the USS Nimitz.
Okay.
So Nimitz class, did 2 Mediterranean deployments. The thing that I think about is that the mental health part is real. We did a 50-day, well, it may have been the Nimitz, may have been the Department of Defense at the time, but anytime you serve more than 50 days, the Navy does their best to try, and they know that the stress is there. So they would throw a still deck picnic for us. So they would secure the flight, secure all of the aircraft, and then take everybody out on the flight deck, do cookouts. There's football and frisbee and skeet shooting off the back, and like they're doing what they can to relieve that mental stress.
So how, in your opinion, I'm not going to ask you to get too political because you're a businessman,
right?
And that's not always good, you know. But how does this happen? I mean, that they're out there for what was supposed to be, you know, one time it got stretched out to what it is now. I mean, is this common?
Well, so here's what I'll say is that I think, and this is what prompted you to call me last night because of what I shared on my Facebook page about, there's people that don't know what they're talking about, need to be careful about spreading this kind of stuff. I'm not sure either. It's been many, many years since I've been involved or serving on that ship. So there are supply, underway replenishments that happen regularly on those deployments. Maybe those underway replenishments are backlogged. Maybe there's trouble getting, all of the supplies onto those ships that bring them to the aircraft carrier and resupply their fresh food and, that kind of thing. But we were at sea for a long time, but we never struggled with that kind of stuff. No, we didn't have social media to complain about it and, call home and talk to our parents, and there were no safe spaces and, that kind of thing. What I'll say, when we did get strained, and there were definitely some skirmishes during my deployments that made us a little bit stressed, but I can tell you that the sailors on board the Nimitz, they would all buckle down and just get the job done. During those skirmishes, there was no question about what was happening there. We trained for that kind of stuff, and again, I want to emphasize that I recognize the mental health is real and they need that break. And to be at sea, the problem that I see the biggest problem is that they've been at sea consecutive more than 200 days. Uh-huh. I mean, that's amazing. And that's going to stress anybody out.
What does it do I know you're not a psychologist, you're a realtor, but what does it do to the mind?
I think it brings on it enhances all of those feelings of loneliness, and depression can sneak in, and you want to go home. Some of those, sailors, men, women, or whatever, having children at home that they haven't met, and their parents might be sick and like trying to get back to them, but they have no control over where that aircraft carrier is going to go. Now, I understand that the USS George Washington is en route. They've diverted that to go and relieve them from that deployment, which is a good thing. But who knows why those things are happening unless you're in the room. That's why I'd be careful about talking with, the radio pundits and I know the politicians and all that say
that's why I bring in experts.
Yeah, well, I'm not an expert either. I lived in those conditions. But yes, I lived in those conditions and was never. I mean, I was just one of the worker bees there. Never in a leadership position. And I think even the department heads and the captain of the ship, they're only doing what's best for that ship and what they're being told to what's best for our country.
But I mean, the reason I reached out to you is, again, I saw your post on social media that you did about people talking about things that they don't know anything about. Mm-hmm. Expound upon that.
Yeah, well, exactly what I've been saying is like, you don't know, you haven't been there. Some of these reports, as you know, the news, I'm not talking about as the media, but they like to expand on this kind of thing and make it dramatic to get the clicks.
Really?
And sure. And, nobody nobody there on that ship. There could be people there I'm sure there are people there that are stressed, and they're talking to their folks back home or loved ones back home, and they had to eat tuna fish sandwiches again or something like that. But that would have never fazed us, and is it bad or is it not as pleasant as it could be where they're fixing a Thanksgiving meal for you or something? Listen, my best friend from the Navy is Craig Brim in New Orleans, and he and I share a story every year that on Thanksgiving we couldn't get to the mess decks for any kind of to get any kind of a meal, and we shared barbecued Vienna sausages and Ritz crackers. So we
just like the Pilgrims did.
But you know what? And then General Quarters is called, and we go do our thing, and it's an important job, and I think will it stress you out? Sure. That's why the port calls are important, to get them to relieve some stress and distract them from their job and that kind of thing.
Talking to Rich Kline, the Dave Allen Show on 580 Live, brought to you in part by the all-new Generations Ford of Hurricane. Visit generationsford.com. You'll never hear me say anything negative about anybody in the military. That's not what I do. I mean, those folks, those men and women are serving more than I did. You served more than I did. Danny, who I'm going to talk to next hour, was in Vietnam. The utmost respect. But do you think there's a difference, though, in the mentality of people serving today as it was in the 1980s when you were serving?
Well, 100% that's true. Technology has changed things. When I served on board the Nimitz, there were, as I understand, there was about 6,000 sailors to man that, when we're fully deployed, and now there are 5,000. So technology has certainly increased and, reduced levels of productivity, those kind of things, which is a helpful thing. But it's also encouraged the social behaviors that we all know between the generations. And, you think about whether or not today's day, I mean, these guys are in a war. They literally are in a war. Mm-hmm. This is new for everybody. Mm-hmm. Would a generation of people like Danny handled that better? I would say they probably would have, just because of the the way they were raised. I recently lost my dad, veteran, and we talked about this a lot at the memorial service, is that they don't make them like that anymore. And each generation gets a little bit, just different. And
it's just different.
Trying to be careful, but it is different. And again, there were no safe spaces and things like that on board when I was on board. We didn't do that kind of thing. We relied on each other. And we just bonded with each other and got each other through that.
I got you. Well, I appreciate you giving us your perspective, and because you were nice enough to drive in here from your office in Tays Valley, to be to talk about this subject that you know something about. I thought I'd give you an opportunity to sell something real quick.
Oh, well, I appreciate that. I've got an open house on 1801 Winding Hill Drive in Sissonsville this coming Sunday, and I'm going to have our good friend Eric Smith with me as a lender, help talk about the finances. And I've got a new listing coming to the Heart of Scott Depot for under $400,000. Should be a hot one. That should be hitting by the end of the week. So call me or call your agent of choice, and I'm happy to get you details on that.
All right, and remind people where they can reach you for real estate or Old Navy ship stories.
Yeah, and I have those. So you can find me at 304-932-7488, 304-932-7488, or richkline66@gmail.com.
All right, appreciate you being here, my friend.
Yes, sir. Thanks for inviting me.
All right. We'll bring in Danny Jones next. You and Danny can hang out. I know you got to go, but yeah. Okay. I know there was something else I wanted to bring up before you left. My first guest was the superintendent of schools in Putnam County, Bruce McGrew. You have a Bruce McGrew story.
Oh, yeah. Just that I remember Bruce McGrew taught me how to drive the car on driver's ed at Winfield High School.
Okay.
Just a few years ago, actually. Yeah. We're both still very young.
Yes. Did you have to crank the Model T? Or
he had to get in the back and push it, and I dropped the clutch and get it to start.
He was in the rumble seat. Is that what you're saying?
Exactly.
All right, Rich, I appreciate you, man. Thanks a lot.
You're welcome.
Danny Jones coming up next on the Voice of Charleston, WCHS.
Brought to you by the Eric J. Tarr Family Businesses. Eric J. Tarr Family Businesses are small businesses with big impact, including Generations Physical Therapy and Snap Fitness.
What if the market drops after you retire? What if healthcare costs continue to rise? What if you outlive your savings? If these questions keep you up at night, you're not alone, and you don't have to figure it out alone. I'm John Burdett with 4th Avenue Financial, and I specialize in retirement income planning. Let's turn your what-ifs into a plan you can count on. Schedule your free consultation today at 4thAvenueFinancial.com. 4th Avenue Financial, retirement done right.
Securities offered through Jenny McCall Financial Incorporated, member FINRA SIPC. Advisory services offered through Jenny McCall Advisors Incorporated.
July 1st is a busy time for the Putnam County Assessor's Office. Personal property assessment forms will be arriving in your mailbox and must be returned to the Assessor's Office by October 1st. Business owners are required to file a business return between July 1st and September 1st. Farm use discount applications also accepted July 1st through September 1st. Homestead exemption applications are accepted July 1st through December 1st. For more information or to use their online filing service, visit PutnamCOAssessor.com. That's PutnamCOAssessor.com.
The burrito is fire.
Hi, this is Maya.
And I'm Antonio. And the little thing we love about the Chick-fil-A hash brown scrambled burrito
is that it fuels our morning.
It's the full package.
You have the chicken, you have the eggs, and then you add these hash browns for a nice little crunch.
The chicken's always nice. It's crispy, it's juicy. And the cheeses, they melt together in a beautiful way.
And it gives me energy. It's perfect.
Order the Chick-fil-A hash brown scrambled burrito and Simply Orange Juice on the Chick-fil-A app today. Real guests paid for their testimonials.
DQ presents the Blizzard Double Flip Deal. For a limited time, when you buy one Blizzard treat, you get a second for just 99 cents. That's 2 Blizzards, 2 spoons, 2 flavors, and 2 flips. So don't miss out on the Blizzard Double Flip Deal, available only for a limited time and happening now at DQ. Because the only thing better than a Blizzard treat is a second Blizzard treat for just 99 cents. It's a deal to flip for. The Blizzard Double Flip Deal. Get it in the app. Participation may vary.
The Cincinnati Reds host the Cardinals tonight. First pitch is 6:40 on your home for Reds baseball, 580 WCHS.
That's the Amos Steel Band. Check them out on Facebook if you need a band to play your event. I invite you to join me every Friday morning, 9:06, for the Adopt Me Please Pet of the Week from the Kanawha Charleston Humane Association, brought to you by Almost Heaven Interiors, family-owned, proudly serving the community. For over 50 years, they specialize in custom blinds, shades, shutters, upholstery, and beautifully crafted sewn goods, homes to hospitals, classrooms to commercial spaces. They do it all. 516 D Street in South Charleston. Tex says, we all know that school systems are hurting for money. I wonder if reducing technology contracts is factoring into the counties moving away from technologies. Tex says, Dave, I don't know why you're pushing fake news about the Navy. We all know sailors are getting fed fresh vegetables, filet mignon, crab legs, all the soft drinks they want. And we also know that no one's jumping off ships. That's called open swimming, free time, duh. A little sarcasm there from the text line.
That's a lot of sarcasm.
Coming up on tomorrow's show, Kanawha County Commission President Ben Salango is going to be here. Of course, the commissioner, he and Natalie Tennant, have a decision to make to replace Lance Wheeler since Lance resigned to take the job as head of the ambulance service.
I'll take the job.
Okay. You weren't part of the mix. The county Republican Party submitted their names, 3 names, to the 2 commissioners who will now enjoy the strike system to choose the next commissioner. Those names are Jared Page, who of course won the Republican primary, Ed Burgess, and Austin Gessel. Now, that meeting is going to be August 27th. We'll talk to Commissioner Salango about that, plus Attorney General J.B. McCuskey coming up on the show tomorrow. Later today, Metro News Midday, 13 News, and Tonight Live anchor Amanda Barron and me, Jeff Jenkins with the news. TJ Meadows is here. With all of the flooding and heavy rains that came down yesterday, there are a lot of issues on the Turnpike. We're going to talk to the Parkways Authority Director about that. We will talk to Charleston Mayor Amy Schuler-Goodwin. A lot of issues within the city of Charleston. Attorney Rusty Webb is on the show today, too. And your calls and texts. Metro News Midday, 13 News, and Tonight Live anchor Amanda Barron and me, powered by Salango Law. And Danny Jones is here. How you doing, man?
Holy smackadoodle.
You heard Hughes say that? I was like, I don't know exactly what that means, Brian. It's official.
I could listen to Brian talk all day.
It's official meteorological term. Holy
He's talking about a refrigerator hitting the boat.
Yeah.
That's a new way that the company is delivering them. And
well, now I said that line.
Oh, you did that?
Yeah,
good.
I'm the funny guy here. All right. So you heard some of the conversations I was having with my good buddy Rich, the realtor, there, and I want to ask you something as somebody who both of you guys served big. And I have said this. I don't care whether you served during wartime, peacetime, or whatever. You still served.
Yeah.
And I did not. So big props to you and big props to Rich and my late father and so many others that did. Do you think there's a difference though in the types of people that are serving now? And I'm not disparaging the military by any stretch of the imagination. I would never do that. But do you just think that there's a difference between the type of people that serve today and what served, let's say, during your generation and going back? Because, I mean, society itself has changed. So, I mean, I'm answering my own question. I guess that there would be a difference in the type of people that serve.
We had 2 million people in the fleet armed forces. Now you've got, 800,000 or 900,000. And they're paid more. They're there because they want to be there. Remember, I was drafted. But I made the best out of it, made the most out of it, got lucky. I'll tell you, if I had my way, I'd have gone to Vietnam earlier and stayed there later.
Now, why is that?
Because it was casual. It was, I was in Da Nang. They called that Rocket City. We were hit by rockets a lot. But there's a lot of time we weren't hit by rockets. And it was very casual. And it was very what you call salty. I mean, we developed some pretty salty attitudes.
Yeah.
I mean, we raised a lot of sand when cigarettes went from 15 to 17 cents a pack. It was really... We had what's called on January 28th, and I found a schedule somewhere on the internet. We had what's called a boxing smoker, where they set up a ring right where I pulled my truck in to turn it around to pick up troops to take them back and forth to the flight line. And these guys could box. Mm-hmm. And you could have a beer if you wanted one. So I think I drank 2 beers while I was in Vietnam. Mm-hmm. And they were that night, and they were Schaefer's beer. And you had to have a church key to open them.
Yes.
They didn't have a pop-top. I mean, they may have come from World War II. You know, You never know.
They didn't know about born-on datings back then.
We had the worst part about Nam for me was the mosquitoes. Mm-hmm. And you would it's a good way to get malaria.
Yeah, my dad talked about that too.
So you would put it all over your arms and all your exposed parts, mm-hmm. especially at night. And those mosquitoes would go towards your arms and then boop, they'd come right back up.
Yeah.
And that mosquito repellent came from World War II. Mm-hmm. It was Army issue.
Right.
And, but it was what you call gungy. And I wasn't in the bush. I wasn't crawling around and I wasn't on Hamburger Hill.
Yeah.
You know, so, but I mean, I like Nam. I mean, it scared me and we took one convoy up to Quezon, and that got pretty weird. But otherwise, you got to remember that most of the time you weren't getting rocketed. Mm. It was a normal existence.
Yeah, my dad talked about that too, and he was always in the clerical end of things, and that's what he did outside the service. He was a purchasing agent for a coal company. He bought all the stuff, all the equipment, whatever, and that's kind of similar. He was in charge of, inventory and things of that nature, and he said a lot of days it was a 9-to-5 job, and it was just like I was in the States. But in other days, your office would get blown up. So it wasn't like a 9-to-5 job. But
in Nam, it was never 9 to 5. Yeah. It was 10 to 12 hours every day. Yeah. But it was. Do you remember in MASH, the movie MASH, when they backed that truck up and all the troops were in back, mm-hmm. and they had that canvas top? You remember? That's what I drove.
Yeah.
In Vietnam.
Right.
That's what I drove. And
let me read a text here. Notice the difference in the generations, says the texter. You never hear stories of the heroes who stormed the beaches at Normandy saying they felt a little anxious about what they were about to do and needed safe spaces, says the texter.
I don't.
Well, what I think what the texter is trying to say is that Rich talked about how, and again, I'm not disparaging our military by any stretch of the imagination. Please understand that, but that that things have changed a lot. And this texter is saying that you would have never heard the complaints that you're hearing on this ship spoken by people that were storming the beaches at Normandy.
I would have done.
They would have kept it within probably, and then go ahead.
I would have done absolutely anything they told me to do.
Right.
Anything, because I knew it was going to end. And if something happened bad to me, I'd have never known it. That's the way I looked at it when I was in Nam. But it was casual. The attitude was salty. It was almost like being in Greenwich Village. I mean, it was just, and you pick up a lingo,
Yeah, just like with anything else. Yeah.
You remember in Donnie Brasco when they said, "Forget about it." Remember that?
Yeah.
Okay, we said, "There it is."
That was your lingo, was
it? There it is. Whether you agreed with him, there it is.
There it is. That's your exclamation point on everything. We're talking to Danny Jones, the Dave Allen Show on 580 Line, brought to you in part by Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm. Text says, please be careful with the then versus now comparison of life experiences. I remember when Vietnam soldiers were roundly criticized for calling attention to the medical side effects of Agent Orange. Says that's true. Something to be said for that.
You saw that big chart I had of all those chemicals.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I had a graph in here one day. Maybe you all had it. I don't know. It was a picture of all these different chemicals that were in Vietnam.
Mm-hmm.
It may not have been Agent Orange.
Mm-hmm.
It may have been another chemical.
Yeah.
I mean, and then they were doing stuff. They were experimenting on us. They were giving us pills, and we were urinating different colors. I mean, it was weird, but there were a lot of chemicals in Vietnam, and I would certainly have been exposed to them because of the flight line,
right?
Because of the 5 hangars that were on the flight line, and the C-130s and all the planes, and back then they were pretty primitive.
Well, experimenting on troops, though, is not something new that even started in Vietnam. You might want to look up the Tuskegee Airmen if you want more information about that, and some of the other things.
I met one of those guys.
Yeah.
His name was Daniel Chaffee, and he was a spokesman for the Richard Nixon Melvin Laird Defense Department, and he was an Air Force general, and I loved him.
Text, every Monday show should be a segment with Danny Jones and a segment with Tony Hodge. They always have interesting takes on things.
I'll take that any day. I'd like to listen to Tony.
All right, we'll put the two of you on together. And I'll go out for breakfast, and you two just talk.
No, we're not going to do that.
Text says, I really think they should bring back the draft. Take a look at the difference in the men that became once they discharged and how they interacted with society compared to this generation that we have now who thinks the world owes them something, that they had the right to act out the way they do with no consequences. Do you think they should bring back the draft?
I think people should serve. I mean, I remember when they did away with the draft. Mm-hmm. That was Nixon who did that.
Right.
And I thought it was a mistake.
In a lot of countries, though, you have to do some sort of service.
Sure.
I know people that I knew in college and people we had foreign exchange students at my school, whatever, everybody at one point had to serve something. If they didn't do in the military, they had to go into almost like a Peace Corps kind of a type thing. I mean, I didn't do that, but I don't think it's a bad idea.
Well, now people don't even consider it.
Right.
Now, my son, Jarrett, he's Army. I really believe he's going to make a career out of it.
Really?
Yeah, that's fine with me. Mm-hmm. I wish I'd lived to see it all.
Now, if you make a career out of it, I know every situation is different, but what's and I could Google this, what's the average, retire? When could he retire?
20 years.
In 20 years, he could retire.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, and then when he gets out of VMI at 21 or 22 years old, he could retire at 42 or he could retire at 52. And now they'll let these high-ranked officers stay longer. You know, they'll stay longer, but I don't know. I'm very proud of that. Mm-hmm. When he went to Bible Center, there was a Bible Center junior high, middle school. There was a retired Marine Corps lieutenant colonel up there who I think influenced him. And I just saw this guy on last week when I got a blood test. We were both at the VA at the same time. And I think he influenced Jarrett in such a way that Jarrett said, I'm going in the military. Jarrett liked the Army. He was in Army ROTC, so that's okay with me.
Mm-hmm. Tex says, thank you for your service. How do you answer that when people come up? Because my veteran friends and my dad, answered it differently.
Can I get on the airplane early?
Use it to your advantage. 9:53. We'll take a break and come back after this.
Are you a physical therapy assistant and looking for an opportunity in orthopedics, wellness, and athletic care? If so, Generations Physical Therapy is offering flexible work hours and an upbeat atmosphere. With 7 convenient locations, Generations may have a job designed for you. Visit generationspt.com.
Have you ever dreamed of a project that seemed impossible? Wondered who could bring it to life with precision and care? At Jared Construction, they don't just build, they craft futures. From historic restorations to cutting-edge designs, they have been your trusted partner since 1999. Whether it's an auto dealership, apartment complex, sports complex, or church addition, Jared Construction has you covered. See more at jared-construction.com. WV030133.
Right on time, right on budget. Call on Jared Construction.
People sometimes may wonder why they need a big law firm after their injury. Imagine you're on your way to work, and then, bam, your whole life changes. Life can be shattered in a moment. When that happens, know that America's largest injury law firm is here for you. When it comes to law, size matters. Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com.
Office 222 Capitol Street, Charleston. Cases will be handled by West Virginia licensed attorneys. The attorney in this ad is not licensed in West Virginia.
Welcome back to the show, 6 away from 10. The Dave Allen Show on 580 Live, brought to you in part by Hudson's Pizza. This month, get a large 18-inch pepperoni pizza and an 8-inch chocolate chip cookie, $23.99. Find your local Hudson's Pizza for delivery, pickup, or dine in at Hudson'sPizza.com. Tex says, I think forced service is a great idea as long as politicians' children are the first to be forced to sign up.
It was good for me.
I think it just goes to everybody, whether you're a politician's kid or not.
But what happened was most of the guys I got out of high school with, they went to college. Mm-hmm. And then by the time they went to college, the lottery had kicked in. Mm-hmm. So that kicked a lot of them. Most of them didn't go in the service. Okay. And by 73, it was all over. But you were asking me, what do I say when people say thank you for your service? Yeah. Well, it depends on who it would be. Like Donna Brazil said it to me. And I said, thank you very much. She was, she's all the South.
Oh, I know. I love her.
She's.
I don't agree with her on everything, but
that doesn't matter.
She's entertaining.
She's a great American patriot and a big supporter of the state of Louisiana.
Yeah.
And thank you for your service.
I love it when she's on with Bill Maher. I think she and Maher just have such a back and forth. I know you got something you want to talk about, but I want to get you this text because it's for you. So, did you happen to hear about a Vietnam veteran back in, I believe, in the late 60s, early 70s, who was walking across the Washington Street Bridge, came across 2 little hippie punks? They messed with him, and they basically held him over the rail of the bridge.
Didn't hear it.
Okay.
Didn't know it. What I wanted to talk about, and nobody's going to expect this, on Netflix, I watched a series about the Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders.
Okay.
And I was really surprised. First thing, I always thought, boy, those football players, they're going to get with those girls.
Yes.
It's not going to happen.
They're not allowed.
It's not that they're not allowed. They don't cross paths.
Mm-hmm.
They're never there. They don't even walk by them.
Mm-hmm.
Second thing, these are, for the most part, very religious people, women that are married, and their views are somewhat, for not all of them, but the ones I was exposed to were conservative. And I think, I just think I'd be proud if any of them were my daughter. Mm-hmm. And, of course, they are good looking, but you kind of get lost in that because they worked so hard. And some girls wake up in life as little babies. They want to be Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders, and they're not going to be. Most of them aren't going to make it. Mm-hmm. And you watch that, too, and their hearts were just broken.
What made you decide to want to watch a documentary about the Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders?
I don't know. I watched Netflix, and it was too long.
Yeah.
It was too long. But I got into it, and then I picked two girls that I wanted to win, and they won.
Uh-huh.
One was from Australia, and another one was named Parker. You can look them up, Faith and Parker. You can get on the internet and find them. And you'd think that it's not about sex. It's not sexual at all. It's about choreography. And for me, sociology, because the way they interact with each other. Mm-hmm. They love each other.
I mean, and the Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders have been, I mean, they were the first ones that really got marketed. I mean, all teams had cheerleaders and so on. Mm-hmm. But they were I mean, I can remember as a Cowboy fan and as a kid of the 1970s, I had a poster of the Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders hanging up in my room.
But two of the Dallas Cowboy former cheerleaders that are close to my age mm-hmm. are the ones running the show. Mm. And everything centered around them. But they were the matriarchs. And it was I thought it was good and interesting, and it changed my view. And what's changed in my life, David, if we've got just another minute?
We've got about 30 seconds. Go.
Okay. Is women's sports.
Uh-huh.
And I hope they don't mess with it. I mean, I get up in the morning, I go to YouTube to watch a recap of the Fever.
Uh-huh.
And because that didn't happen when I was a kid.
All right. We got to leave it there. Danny Jones, appreciate it. It's the Dave Allen Show on 580 Live, brought to you by the Charleston Dirty Birds. Birds on the road all this week, taking on Gastonia. They're back at the ballpark next Tuesday night. Beginning Sears against Lancaster. Visit dirtybirdsbaseball.com. Meadows, what you got on Talk Line today?
11:33, U.S. Navy retired Rear Admiral Michael Smith on the USS Abraham Lincoln. We'll check in with C.W. Sigmund at 11:06, find out what's happening here in Kanawha County after yesterday's flooding. Brad McElhenney at 10:33 with the latest edition of As the Greenbrier Turns. Bryan Hughes kicks off the show with the latest on weather and flooding at 10:06.
All right, tomorrow on this show, Kanawha County Commission President Ben Salango and Attorney General J.B. McCuskey. See you later today. Until then, have fun and love somebody.
WCHS AM 96.5 FM Charleston and 104.5 Cross Lanes, a WVRC media station. We're proud to live here too.